The date is December 12th, 1975. The studio lights at NBC in Burbank, California are just searing hot. The Tonight Show band is in full swing. At his iconic desk sits Johnny Carson, the undisputed king of late night.
Right.
A man in, total command of his universe. His sidekick, Ed McMahon, bellows the introduction for the next guest.
Okay.
And the curtain parts, and out stumbles a man, cigarette dangling from one hand.
Oh, wow.
A look of genuine, unfiltered confusion on his face. It's Dean Martin.
Oh my God, the audience must have just gone wild, right? It's Dean, the king of cool.
They did, but it was a strange sound. A wave of applause, certainly, but underneath it,
Yeah?
a current of nervous energy. He shuffles towards the desk, and for a split second, there's this dramatic pause. The audience didn't know whether to laugh or gasp.
You can just picture it, that collective, silent question mark hanging over the entire room.
Precisely. And in that moment, nobody in that studio knew what was about to happen.
Wow.
But what unfolded in the next 18 minutes would become the most talked about Tonight Show episode ever. This is the story of the night Dean Martin showed up drunk to Johnny Carson's show.
Okay.
And made television history.
I have chills already. So to really understand the gravity of this, set the scene for us. Who was Dean Martin at this exact point in 1975?
Well, Dean Martin wasn't just a star. He was an entire constellation.
Yeah.
He was, without question, the coolest member of the Rat Pack. I mean, the guy who made Frank Sinatra look like he was trying too hard. His own NBC variety series, The Dean Martin Show, was a ratings giant.
Wow.
It was this perfect storm of effortless charm, impossibly good looks, and just razor-sharp wit.
And of course, there was his famous drunk act, right? That was so central to his whole persona.
It was his persona. He'd saunter out on his own show, glass in hand, playfully slurring his lines.
Right.
And America adored him for it. But here's the key, the part most people didn't know.
Okay.
It was almost entirely an act. His own son, Dean Paul, later confirmed that the glass he famously carried on stage, it was usually filled with apple juice.
No way.
He was a consummate professional who had crafted this brilliant brand.
So the audience that night might have just thought, oh, that's just Dean doing his thing.
Some of them did, at first, but this felt different. This felt real. And to understand why this moment was so electric, you have to understand his relationship with Johnny.
Right.
They were friends, not, inseparable, but there was a deep mutual respect.
Yeah.
He had even guest hosted Dean's show, and an appearance on Carson in the 70s was the absolute pinnacle.
Wow.
It was the platform that could launch a career into orbit. Everyone wanted to be on that couch.
Can you imagine the pressure? So what was happening behind the scenes that day? Why was this night different?
This is where the glamour fades and the reality sets in. And as we said, here's what nobody knew that night.
Okay.
Dean was in a dark place. His son had recently survived a serious plane crash. His marriage was falling apart.
Oh, man.
And he was still reeling from the death of his father. So on this particular day, he wasn't performing. Backstage, the producers were in a full-blown panic.
I bet.
He was in the green room, and it was alarmingly clear he was genuinely heavily intoxicated.
Wait. The producers knew he was actually drunk and they still let him go on live national television?
Well, they were in an impossible situation. This is Dean Martin.
Right.
You don't just tell the legend, sorry, Dean, you can't go on. There were hushed, frantic conversations.
Wow.
Johnny was told just moments before the intro that Dean was a little under the weather. Johnny, the ultimate showman, just gave a slight nod. He was prepared for anything. Or so he thought.
Wow. So the music starts, Ed McMahon makes that huge announcement. What was that exact moment like?
The big clock on the studio wall reads 9:47 p.m. Ed McMahon's voice booms. And now, would you welcome the one and only Dean Martin? The curtain parts, and for what felt like an eternity,
Oh my gosh.
America watched as this icon, this pillar of cool, staggered into the spotlight. You could hear a pin drop.
Oh my God. So he finally gets to the couch. What is the first thing he says?
He practically collapses into the guest chair next to Bob Hope, who was the previous guest. Johnny, with that legendary twinkle in his eye, but a new layer of shock, says, "Good to see you, Dean."
Okay.
Dean squints, gestures vaguely at the massive studio audience, and slurs, "How did all these people get in your room?"
No, he did not.
He did. The audience erupts in a tidal wave of nervous laughter. Then came the famous cigarette moment.
Uh-huh.
He fumbles to light a cigarette, and Johnny, in a stroke of genius, just sits back and watches him.
Wow.
Johnny doesn't even flinch. He glances at the camera, then at the cup, and with that perfect $1,000,000 timing,
Yeah?
just says, "I remember when that's made years ago." And the studio just howls. Johnny was a magician, turning raw chaos into pure comedy gold. For 18 minutes and 32 seconds, America just watched in disbelief.
What else happened? I mean, what did they even talk about?
It was completely surreal.
I bet.
He asked him about Frank Sinatra's upcoming 60th birthday. Dean's response? "We're all gonna get in his bed and watch you." He told this long, rambling, and entirely fabricated story about being a croupier in Vegas for 11 years.
Oh my God. So what were producers doing backstage this whole time? They must have been having heart attacks.
Oh, it was pandemonium. They were screaming in the control room. Should we cut to commercial?
Right.
Network executives were on the phone, watching in horror. This was live television at its dangerous.
Yeah.
There was no dump button, no safety net. But Johnny was the captain, and he gave the signal to keep the cameras rolling. And thank God they did. What Dean said next would shock even Johnny Carson.
Wow.
He knew this was history in the making.
Unbelievable. So how did they finally get him off the air?
After what felt like an hour, Johnny saw his opening. He said, "Well, we have to take a break here." And Dean, genuinely baffled, slurs, "Are you gonna bleep the laugh too?" Johnny, without missing a beat, delivers the knockout punch. Because the fire department is here to resuscitate the standards and practices guy who was lying on the floor hard as a carp. The audience just exploded. It was the perfect escape hatch. That was the commercial break that saved everything.
Incredible. So what happened after the show? What was the immediate fallout?
The moment the cameras went dark, the backstage chaos just took over.
Yeah.
NBC staffers gently helped a completely disoriented Dean off the set. Johnny, ever the pro, simply finished the show as if nothing had happened. But privately, he was shaken, but also knew that he had just witnessed greatness of a different kind. Ed McMahon later said he had never been so nervous or so thrilled in his entire career.
In the media reaction, this had to be front page news.
The headlines the next morning were savage.
Oh, I bet.
Dino's drunken debacle, Carson's wildest night. Critics were split. Some lambasted the network for what they saw as exploitation,
Right.
while others praised Johnny's almost superhuman handling of the situation. NBC put out a bland statement about the unpredictability of live television. This was the story Hollywood tried to bury.
And what about Dean? What was his response?
Not a word. Dean Martin never apologized. He never explained.
Wow.
He just let the legend grow. It perfectly fueled his public persona. In a strange way,
Yeah?
it boosted his career. But for Johnny, it cemented his legacy forever.
So what is the real legacy of that one chaotic night?
Well, it became the most watched, most talked about Tonight Show of that year.
Wow.
It was a lightning strike that illuminated the raw power of live TV.
In an era of polished, prepackaged entertainment?
Right, it was a moment of pure, unscripted humanity. It revealed the man behind the myth.
Yeah.
We saw Dean's fragility and we saw Johnny's unbreakable grace.
And their friendship, did it survive?
It absolutely did, and it may have even deepened.
Really?
Johnny understood. It wasn't a moment for judgment. It was a moment that captured the end of an era. The swagger of classic Hollywood giving way to the controlled, corporate world of modern television.
It's so much more than just a funny TV moment. It's a piece of history.
Exactly. It's about vulnerability. It's about unparalleled professionalism. And it's about the electric, unpredictable magic that can only happen when things go spectacularly,
Yeah.
unforgettably wrong. It's why all these years later, we still talk about it.
Now,